Hi. It's now December and I thought it was time that I came back. So hi. Welcome back. I took a hiatus for like 11 months. A special thank you to everyone who stuck around while I was off doing other things, adulting, job-wise, you name it. I was kind of taking time off without noticing that I was taking time off, and then it was just like months later when I noticed that I just wasn't putting out content anymore. So maybe this is just like a winter channel, I don't know. Here's hoping that I'm gonna stick to it, that this is gonna be a priority for me this coming year. The time leading up to Christmas, just autumn in general, is just a very good reading time for me. I just got back into reading, getting cozy, just getting all the reading vibes right, and then just finally sticking to my reading plans again, or some of them. So I'm very happy to say that I'm ready for all the holiday vibes. So last year I think it took a while for me to get to the Christmas themed novels, just because I started late with the spooky vibe, and then I just wanted to read all the spooky things in November, and I did not do that this year. This year I started early, like in September, and then when Halloween came around I was all done. I was like, thank you, where are my Christmas reads now? You can see Christmas is all around. So reading wise, December is gonna be interesting. There are a million readathons happening, and also having of course a lot of like responsibilities toward the end of the year with the family and stuff, so it's gonna be a crazy time, but we're here for it. So I of course thought I would only do like one seasonal readathon and that would be it, but no, all the other booktubers thought, hey, let's just do amazing content and just invite everyone to join. And I was like, yeah, hell yeah. Give me all the reading prompts that I can get so that I can actually put kind of a TBR together. Because like readathons, there are 1,010,000 holiday reads that I of course want to read. Like, I want to read all of them, but that's not gonna happen, and I know that. So these readathons really helped me pick and choose which ones are my priority. Will I just read those? Probably not. Will I get to all of those? Probably not. But here we are. These are my December hopefuls. So let's talk readathons. We're starting off on December 1st with not one but two readathons. Both of them are from Patreon. I'm both a patron of Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin and Lexi from Alexandra Roslin. They're both amazing content creators. I'm sure you know them. If you don't, I'm gonna link everything that I mention here, all the creators, all the readathons down below, so go check them out. So let's talk about the month-long readathon that Lexi is actually doing. She is hosting this readathon after only having a Patreon for I think 2 or 3 months. So she is going all out. Look at this map. This is the map that she had made especially for this readathon, and of course I'm not going to go into the prompts because those are top secret just for us patrons, but I mean, just look at this map. It's so cute, and this just gives you kind of like a vibe for her Patreon. I think I'm gonna say the word cozy and cute so often in this video, so sorry, not sorry, but I'm here for it. So this readathon is called The Journey to the Candy Cane Ball, and as this map shows, you're trying to get from the Ice Palace all the way up to the Candy Cane Ball. You have all these prompts that you have to do. Some are bookish, some are not bookish, and I'm always here for some like self-care, some time just to relax and do something else like for a little while that has nothing to do with books without feeling guilty for not reading. I mean, that's always like a good like thing to remember doing these intense readathon months, that it's okay to not read. It's okay to take your time, and especially like during the holidays, you want time with your family. I want time with my family, so I'm gonna do that as well, and I'm hopefully gonna remember to just take a second and not worry about getting all the books read that I'm gonna mention right now. Like I said, the prompts are for patrons only, so come join us and you can check out the prompts yourself. But of course I can tell you which books I'm planning to read for these. I'm not gonna go into too much detail with each of these books because there are a lot, so bear with me. So the first book that I'm gonna read for the journey to the Candy Cane Ball is The Girl in the Tower by Catherine Arden. This is a retelling of Russian folklore. I liked the first one. I didn't love it as much as everyone else apparently did, but I want to continue because the second one, the sequel, has one of the tropes that I love most, which is a girl disguising herself as a man to achieve her goal, and I think this is actually happening in this one. So I'm kind of hoping that this has a plot more to my liking, but this is for the prompt for the Ice Palace. The next bookish prompt is for the Snowball Battlefield, and for that I'm gonna read Spinning Silver. This is by Naomi Novik, and I recently really enjoyed the finale of the Skullman series, and I did read Uprooted once upon a time. It's been a while and I'm not really remembering much of it, but I've had this on my TBR really, it's been years. So hoping this is the year that I'm actually getting to this one. I think that Lexi said that this would actually tick off all the boxes for this readathon. So if something were to happen and life would get hectic again, I could just read this and be done with the whole readathon. So that would be actually perfect, and this is just a beautiful, beautiful cover. The next bookish prompt is for the Fairy Tale Inn, and for that I'm gonna read A Winter's Promise, which I just noticed that I don't have my copy here. I think I lent it to my mom and she kept it. So not sure how I'm gonna read that one. I think I can get the audiobook though, so I might just do that, or I'm just gonna wait until I'm home for the holidays and then I'm gonna read it then. This is a translated work from French, so I'm gonna read the German edition of this. That's gonna be a reread for me, even though I cannot tell you a thing about this book. I kind of remember the beginning, but after that it's just blank. But since I really want to continue with the series, I should really reread the first one, so just to get my bearings. So that's what I'm gonna read for that one. And then the next bookish prompt is The Polar Express, and I'm guessing that since this is a month-long readathon, that at some point I'm gonna be sick of reading holiday reads. I know, sorry, but that's just gonna happen. So I thought I would just put some books in here just for like the last week or so of the month. And so for the Polar Express, I'm gonna read Half Soul by Olivia Atwater. No idea if this is even taking place during winter. I'm pretty sure it's not, but this is a very like cozy read, a very mishmash of different genre. This is fantasy, historical, romance, I think, and I've heard nothing but great things about it, so I really want to get to this, and it's been on my TBR for a couple of months, so I really want to start this series because I think it's a series, and I'm kind of into historical romance right now, which is surprising because I thought I was done with historical like fiction, but I guess I'm not. And finally we're gonna hopefully manage to reach the Candy Cane Ball, and for that prompt I'm gonna read The Guncle, which is so far away from any winter read as you can imagine, but again, I mean, is this not just like the cutest cover ever? And I'm really hoping that I'm gonna love this one. It might actually be like one of the last books that I'm gonna read this year, and I just want to end this year with like a bang, and this could be it. So these 4 plus A Winter's Promise are my reads for the journey to the Candy Cane Ball readathon. Wow, that's a mouthful. So this, as you might have noticed, is a very fantasy heavy TBR, and I did that on purpose because this is a month-long readathon. So I thought, because of all the romance books that I'm probably gonna read during the other readathons that are more like festive readathons, I thought it would be good to have some fantasy interspersed in between, just to have like one of these each week. On to the next readathon that's hosted by Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin. I've been a patron of Gavin's for quite some time, and I'm loving it. He's one of the most genuine, beautiful human beings that you can imagine, so I'm always happy to join him when he's hosting one of his Camp Believathons, which is like this time a week-long readathon for middle grade. I'm always here for some good middle grade. I did just read some amazing middle grade, so I should have maybe waited, but I'm done with like waiting to read something for a readathon, because time and time again I waited to read something, and then when the time came to actually read this book, I wasn't in the mood. So I'm done with that. And there are like a million middle grades that I want to read, so it still works. It still works. Again, I'm not going to talk about the actual prompts, but I am going to talk about my TBR for this week that is happening from the 1st to the 7th of December. For the first 2 prompts, I decided that actually I'm gonna finish off a series, or like catch up with the series that I've been really loving lately, and that's the Adventures on Trains series by M.G. Leonard and Sam Setchman. And these 2 authors are amazing together. I've really enjoyed this series so far. This is like one of the few series that I'm actually continuously reading. This always takes place on a train, and there's always like a mystery happening that the main character Harrison and his uncle have to solve. We've been all over the world, and this time this one is taking place in Australia, I think. So this one is Sabotage on the Solar Express, and then I also want to read The Arctic Railway Assassin, which is perfect for one of the prompts and also for this season in general. So I'm really hoping to finish the series off. For right now, I'm not sure if there is another one. I think so. I think there's gonna be another one, but the Arctic Assassin one is the last one that's published right now. So I'm really happy to continue. For the next prompt of the readathon, I'm gonna read Amari and the Great Game by B.B. Elston. This is the highly anticipated sequel to Amari and the Night Brothers, which is one of my favorite middle grades of all time, which is a story about Amari who learns that there is a secret camp for younger agents of the supernatural, and she's invited to join this camp and become one of the younger agents, and whatever happens there, that's the story of the first one, and this is the sequel. Like I said, I can't wait, and I've been waiting to read this for such a long time. And finally, I'm hoping to finish off Frostheart 2 Escape from Aurora. This is by Jamie Littler. Also, the illustrations are also by Jamie Littler, which are also like inside of the book. Beautiful illustrations, beautiful story. This is the 2nd book in the trilogy. I have the final book also on my TBR. Not sure if I'm gonna get to it, because I just noticed last week when I started this that it actually takes me quite some time to read this one. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if, I mean, I really enjoy the story. I enjoy the characters. They're very cute. This is about a boy who is kind of an orphan. His parents went missing when he was a baby. He is kind of an outsider in his village, in his stronghold, in this world where everything is under like ice and snow, and there are monsters under the ice that you are trying to avoid, obviously. And in order to travel from stronghold to stronghold, you need kind of like an ice ship, or like a ship that goes over the ice, and that's the Frostheart in his case, and he boards the Frostheart in order to find his parents, and this is the sequel. Very action-packed, very like magical. Again, I don't know why it took me so long to first of all pick it up, and then I don't know why it's taking me so long to actually read the pages. I think it's just because I'm very used to reading a book physically and then listening to the audiobook at the same time, and I don't have the audiobook for this one, so maybe that's just it. But I will continue, and I'm on page 118, but this has like 450 pages, so it's still a way to go, but I'm really enjoying it so far. So those are the books that I'm planning to read for Gavin's readathon. And then there is a whole lot of festive readathons happening from the 5th to the 11th, so the first full week of the month. We have a week-long readathon which is called Tistheseasonathon, and that's hosted by Booktubers, and I'm gonna link her again, her announcement video, down below. This is all about reading festive books. This is actually not a Patreon one, so you're free to join. So the first prompt is to read a book set in December, and for this I'm gonna read So This Is Christmas by Tracy Andreen, and this is, I think, a young adult, if not young adult then new adult romance, and it takes place in a town called Christmas, and someone is trying to get their Christmas spirit back. So perfect, and I just love the cover. The next prompt is to read a book that has snow on the cover, and I'm gonna read Stay Another Day by Juno Dawson. I'm in the middle of reading Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm kind of hoping to really like this one, even though it has nothing to do with fantasy, I think. I think it's just a contemporary young adult novel about Christmas, and actually it's taking place, I think, in Edinburgh. I was just there on vacation and I love the city, and I'm hopeful that I'm just gonna get the Edinburgh vibe back by reading this book. Then we have the prompt to read a book under 250 pages, and I just went and looked and got the cutest book I could find, and that's A Bookshop Christmas by Rachel Burton. Never read anything by this author before, but it just sounds very cute. And then we have the prompt to read a book that was gifted to you, and for that I'm gonna read 8 Nights of Flirting by Hannah Reynolds. This was gifted by NetGalley, so this is something that I got for free as an advanced reader copy, and I think it's out by now, so I'm sorry for that. And then the only prompt that's left is to bake a holiday treat while reading, and I'm gonna do that. I think I have some of these as an audiobook, so that shouldn't be a problem. During the week of Tistheseasonathon, there's also the Festive Readathon happening by Steph Loves, and she's also doing a 24-hour readathon for her Patreons, which I'm a part of. And her 24-hour Patreon readathon is happening on the 5th of December. I think for me it's like 6 p.m. on Monday till 6 p.m. on Tuesday. Of course, again, I'm not going to tell you the prompts, but the books that I'm going to read for these is A Cross Country Christmas, which, again, title says it all. I think it's about a girl driving cross country with her former crush. And then I will read Below Zero, which of course is by Ellie Hazelwood. I wasn't really the biggest fan of her other short story. Hopefully this one is better, but I will give it a try. And for the last reading prompt, I'm gonna read A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking, which is by T. Kingfisher. I recently really enjoyed T. Kingfisher's writing, so I'm really hopeful for this one. I don't think it's really like a festive read, but I think it works with a gingerbread man on the cover. So yeah, that's her 24-hour readathon, and then the weekend after she's doing an open for all readathon, which is called the Festive Readathon. And for that there are the prompts share your TBR, which I'm doing. Then we have to take part in a sprint that she's hosting, which of course I'm going to do over the weekend. Then there are 3 reading prompts and 3 other prompts. So there is self-care, which is always fun. For that I think I'm gonna go visit like an Advent market that's happening near me. And then there is eat or drink something festive, which works perfectly when I'm at the market. We can have like a glühwein, or I can just make something here at home and watch a festive movie. Not sure which one I'm gonna watch. And then we have 3 reading prompts, and for the first one it's to read a book that has a festive word in the title, and I'm gonna read a very short book. It's called A Vicarage Christmas by Kate Hewitt. I think it's about a girl who has anxiety and isn't really close to her family, but she's kind of like forced to attend a gathering with them, and she goes to a pub and she like tells a stranger her whole woes and like what's bothering her, and I think her crush on her sister's boyfriend, and it turns out that he is actually involved with something with her family, so he's not really a stranger and he's trying to like get her to open up more and stuff. I'm really hoping like the whole anxiety part, like the rep, is good. I'm hopeful. It's a very short book. If it's not good, I'm not gonna spend too much time on it. So the next prompt is to read a book with an illustrated cover, and I'm gonna read The Holiday Trap by Rowan Parrish. This is basically the movie The Holiday, but gay. So it sounds very fun, and maybe I'm gonna watch The Holiday over the weekend. That would work perfectly actually. And the last prompt is to read a book that has festive colors on the cover, and for that I'm gonna read Meet Me Under the Mistletoe by Jenny Bayliss. And then we have another readathon that is happening from the 9th to the 18th, so it actually coincides with the Festive Readathon as well as Tistheseasonathon, like the beginning of it. And I think I'm just gonna skip the first couple of days and I'm gonna start reading for this readathon on the 12th. and then just read the 1 week for this readathon. And that's the Old Favor Pass readathon, which is part of the magical readathon of Orilium, hosted by G from Book Roast. And if you don't know this readathon, I mean, go check it out. It's so amazing. It's so creative. It's a fantasy kind of role play readathon where you create your own character and you can choose like what they would do in like during the readathon, like what their character would choose, and the prompts are always like magical related, it's a whole thing. Just check it out and just take part. And even if you haven't done any readathons with your character or whatever before, you can just join this one, because basically it's just going on a stroll and going shopping in a town, a fictional town in this fictional world. She did an incredible job on like the map and the different shops that we can visit, and the shops are basically genres. And you even have one shop, I think it's the pub, where you can just relax and not read. So even if you don't have any time but you want to participate, you don't want to have FOMO, you just come and join us at the pub and maybe like join a reading sprint and do something productive that has nothing to do with reading, and you still joined and you still participated. I think that's such a cute idea to have this be a part of the readathon. I think that was just such a lovely idea by G, and I think I'm gonna take advantage of that. So you will find me at the pub sometime. But I do hope that I can actually manage a couple of visits to some of the other shops. But I'm not sure like what reading mood I'm gonna be in. I'm not sure if I'm all burned out from reading like all the festive like holiday reads, and if I just want to read something fantastical, I'm gonna do that. I have some books that are still on my TBR for this year that I'm hoping to get to. One of them is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I've heard nothing but great things about this one. This would work perfectly for the fantasy prompt. I also have Through the White Wood by Jessica Leek. This is a book that I've had on my TBR for years now, and I've always meant to read this during the winter season because it has like frost and winter magic in it. So this works perfectly for this season and for this readathon. So this is one that I might pick up. But I also have, for example, Ocean's Echo, which would be for the genre sci-fi, which takes place in the same universe as Winter's Orbit, which I loved. Very like character-based sci-fi. Like it. So that's a very high priority for me as well. But if I do still want to continue reading contemporary romance, then there's always Cat Cafe Christmas. I mean, look at this cover. Isn't it cute? It is, and I can't wait to read that one as well. That's it as far as readathons are concerned. Of course, there are a million books behind me and around me and on my digital TBR that I want to read, that I'm interested in, and of course I'm also going to mood read during this month. Another book that I'm reading throughout the whole month is an advent calendar, bookish style, and that's 24 Days of Magic. This is a fantastical Christmas anthology that my friends published, and I read some of the stories already, so I know they're going to be amazing, and I'm going to be interested to see if other authors that are in here are for me. And if you're still looking for this kind of anthology for the Christmas season, look no further. Another reason to read this is that all the revenue of this book goes to a charity here in Germany. And one last project that I have for this month is the Readathon by Kayla from Books and Lala. That's a year-long readathon, and every month you get a certain word or word group that you have to read books for. For example, in December it's numbers. I tried reading a certain word every month, but that didn't work for me. So I thought I would just do it like Kayla did and see if I read a book for each prompt during the year. And it turns out I could check off 11 of the 12 prompts, and the only prompt that I think I didn't read anything for is the prompt for April, and that is big and little. So books that have big or little, or like small or tall. Is tall? I'm not sure, but all these kinds of words in the title, that would work for this prompt. So I think that's like one more book that I'm putting on my TBR, is to read a book that fits this prompt. I'm not really sure if I have one right now, like on the tip of my tongue. If you know any that you recommend me, maybe something that has December, Christmas, festive, fantastical vibes, leave me a comment and I would really appreciate it to have like a recommendation from you guys. Same goes for all the other prompts. If you know any good books, any recommendations, or just any comment at all, just leave it down below. So thank you in advance for that. This is cold by now. So this has been my TBR for December. Looking at all of these books, I'm kind of scared, but it's okay. I'm actually in a great reading mood. Hopefully I didn't just jinx myself, but I'm very happy to just get started, and I'm very happy that for most of this month I have readathons and people with reading sprints helping me along just to stay focused and get that reading done, but also to remind myself to get some self-care in. And I hope you guys do that as well, but also let me know in the comments what books you're planning to read this month, and is there anything that you're looking forward to the most? I would love to know. And that's it for now. This is gonna be a very long video, but I just wanted to say I'm back. I'm back, baby. Thank you for watching, and I'm hoping to see you very soon with some vlogs. Guys, I did some filming lately and it only has to be edited. Only has to be edited now. So here's hoping that I will get that done and that you will see me very soon again. And until then, I hope you have all the great reads. Bye!